Sure.
So good afternoon, everyone. Good morning for some of you if you're coming from some friends we have from Mexico, and boa tarde for anyone coming from Brazil or the state or the countries. Huh? Alexandre, it's good afternoon for you. Thank you for joining us today. It's really nice to have the latest news on Morocco. Huh? And if you want to share your screen, then we can start the presentation. So we're going to keep the question as usual for the end. Huh? And then let's see.
Sure. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining today. Thank you, Dominique, for your invitation. Such a pleasure to see you. Always interesting for everyone. So we have some very good and some less news. I will start with, let's say, what I can call bad news, is that we closed our borders a few days ago for 2 weeks, just the time for government to see how the new variant will evolve. So we made a decision as Israel, and for one good reason. So far, Morocco has really well handled COVID since the beginning of the crisis. At the moment, we can say that it's almost eradicated from our country. CDC has classified Morocco as a level 1 country, which means that we're one of the first in the world, and we're very few countries which can be classified as 1, considering that we were level 4 in August. So I think that we've done pretty well. More than 65% of the population is vaccinated in Morocco, and we have access to American vaccines like Pfizer, which makes things much easier for everyone. Also, the digital pass is mandatory to access any public areas. So, which means basically life is, I would say, back to normal, except that tourists can't come for a short. We all hope that border on the 14th of December. And
Alexandre,
good news is, yes.
Okay, no, we have a little bit of a problem sometimes to hear you. I don't know if it's internet or anything. It's cut off a little bit, unless I'm the only one. And if everybody said, no, it's great, then it's my internet.
It's from here, like in Morocco, sometimes we have issues. I'm in the grove at the moment.
Pamela, you said you're cutting in and out. Huh? I don't know, maybe you want to switch the camera and then start with the screen, or Meredith also, you said yes, you have a little difficulties to hear. So what would you prefer, Alexandre? You switch off the camera and then we start with the presentation and you speak in the background?
Okay, now it should be better now.
Yes, it is. But we heard most of the news. The country is closed for the moment for the next 2 weeks, but you're doing well in controlling this COVID in the country, and more than 60% vaccinated. So it's a good news. And with the US,
it's good news.
Vaccines.
Yes, the US vaccines, and also Royal Maroc will put more direct flights to the USA starting January. So we'll have direct flights to New York City, to Miami, to Washington DC, and hopefully to Boston as well. So with our brand new Dreamliners, so it's very good aircraft, which we are very proud of. So it's another good reason to visit us.
Yeah. But it's such a special country, and you had wonderful feedback. I mean, I had someone, you just had their client there, and the feedback that she sent was amazing.
Yes, thank you very much. We try very hard to focus on real luxury services, and we have been awarded biggest private jet broker in Morocco for 2021 with more than 10 arrivals and departures a week.
Wow, good for you. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's a very convenient way to go in and out, and I think it's almost the same everywhere. So let's start maybe with a tour of Morocco.
Yeah.
If you just to refresh your memories.
Travel with you.
So marhaba bikum. Welcome to Marrakesh. where I currently am. And Marrakesh is home to the best hotels in Morocco. And I would say some very interesting fact about that. Unlike many like main destinations like Dubai or even Egypt or like Greece or Italy or France, our 5-star hotels have basically less than 70 rooms, except La Mamounia, which has like 208 rooms. The Selman, the Royal Monceau, which you're like seeing at the moment, they have like 53 keys. Selman 72 keys, the Amman Jena 40 keys.
Mhm.
So I would say we're talking about some very exclusive hotels. Why is it very interesting, especially now? Like a lot of families and friends, they like to be on their own to celebrate and to spend like some quality time all together. So as we have small and amazing properties, they are very easy to buy out. And we're talking about very reasonable prices. So from $30,000 a night, basically, you can have one of those beautiful places just for yourself. We also have, I don't have pictures at the moment, but I will be happy to share them with you a bit later. We have brand new houses. So from 5 up to 25 rooms. So from $5,000 to $30,000 a night. You're viewing now the Yves Saint Laurent Museum. We have renewed our partnership with them. So we're still grant donator to the foundation, which means that we have like a privileged access to all the facilities of the Yves Saint Laurent Foundation. The Villa Oasis of Yves Saint Laurent. We can also organize private events, dinners in the museum. And we have access for all the private events also that are held at the foundation, at the museum for all our VIP clients. So I'm always happy to extend my invitations to our valuable clients. It's also always interesting to attend some social events, and especially in Marrakesh, where it's usually like very, very different, as you can see. Nightlife is slowly getting back to normal as well. So you can enjoy our amazing restaurants, clubs and bars until late. And if you don't want to sleep, you can enjoy beautiful sunrises from balloons. Next to Marrakesh, you have plenty of things to do. You can go to Essaouira by the ocean, so at 2.5 hours from Marrakesh. You can go to the Atlas Mountains. You can go to Agafay Desert, which we'll see in a bit. And also you can do plenty of things in Marrakesh itself. So I would say for short stays, if you combine Morocco with Europe, for example, you stay 5 days in Morocco, I would recommend to stay the 5 days in Marrakesh only. And from Marrakesh, you choose like an amazing hotel like La Mamounia, Royal Mansour, or the Oberoi, and you can do all those amazing activities. So this is basically Agafay Desert. So it's not the Sahara. So don't expect fine sand dunes there, but stones and rocks. You have this amazing view on the Atlas Mountains. It's exactly like the video was shot last year at the same time. So you have exactly the same view at the moment with the snowy Atlas Mountains. It's 45 minutes from Marrakesh, amazing for a day trip. We can set beautiful private camps there. And for those willing to experience the real Sahara, the desert, you have this magnificent road heading there. So you will cross the Atlas Mountains, those beautiful villages, and head to the Sahara. So it's a pretty long drive from Marrakesh to Sahara. So basically 8 hours, 9 hours. So what we do, we cut the road in two and offer our guests to stop in luxury properties like Dar Ahlam in Ouarzazate. Or another option, which is amazingly convenient, is to take an helicopter. So you fly directly from Marrakesh to the desert camp. It takes 1 hour and 40 minutes, more or less. And the ride is magnificent. It's exactly what you're like viewing at the moment. So you go from the countryside to the valley to the mountains, and then you head slowly to the another kind of landscapes. And the Dra Valley, which you are seeing now, it's also the largest palm grove in the world. So if you like dates, I know in Israel, they have amazing ones. In Saudi Arabia, they have some very good some as well, but the finest in the world are in Morocco. So I encourage you, for those coming to Pure next year in September, be my guest. I will be more than happy to share like the freshly harvested dates from Zagora. This is also like one of my favorite regions of Morocco. Like the variety of landscapes that you have here is truly amazing. It's like jumping back in the times. And you have also like a rose festival where they harvest roses by hand in May. It's a beautiful moment. Now we're next to Ouarzazate. So fun fact about Ouarzazate, a lot of movies were shot there, like Lawrence of Arabia, 300, Troy, Spartacus as well, and Game of Thrones, more recently, the TV show. And if you have clients interested in Jewish heritage tours, it's a very rich region. So you have this part of Morocco with like some old villages. You can find some abandoned synagogues, which are still very well maintained in the region of Ouarzazate. But also they can go north to Ouazzane, and then we can also organize that by helicopter. So you can land like 10 minutes from the holy sites, and we have all the logistics ready for you with kosher catering for lunch, which we can set into the wild there, and cars and amazing guides that will like show you around. So this is Aïd Ben Haddou, the UNESCO heritage site, where like all the movies were shot. You can visit it. It's quite interesting, but I know some other Casbahs which are maybe like more authentic. Casbah means fortress in a Moroccan Arabic. Palm trees. So this is a huge oasis leading to the desert. And also Ouarzazate is home to the largest solar plant in the world. Morocco intends to be energetically independent by 2050. So I'm not sure we can make it, but it's an ambitious project. So 4 hours and a half basically from Marrakesh to Ouarzazate, where we are now. And you add another 4 hours and a half from there to the Sahara by car. And again, 1 hour, 40 minutes from Marrakesh to the sand dunes, or you can land by helicopter next to here and have like a 3 hours drive to the desert, which is also a nice adventure. We can organize like cars with drivers, but for those willing to drive themselves, it's also a nice adventure, like to try sand driving. I'll go directly to the dunes. So you notice the difference between Agafay Desert and the Sahara. It's completely different. Again, like it's an adventure. It takes a bit of time to get there, but it's really worth it. Like next to there, you have a small village named Khamlia. Khamlia is home to the ancient tribe of the Gnawas. Gnawas, they were like musicians, pilgrims from Black Africa, going from Mecca to Northern Africa. And they have a very specific kind of music, which is supposed to heal, and it has some magical powers. So that's also, we can bring those musicians to the camp by the campfire at night while watching at the stars. It's a magical experience. Completely different landscape. Now we're in northern Morocco. So we have the Atlantic coast, but also the Mediterranean Sea, sorry, like in Italy, Greece, or France, or Turkey. So it's a completely different landscape, very green. And this is where you have some very interesting holy Jewish sites. This part of Morocco also hosts like the blue city of Chefchaouen, which like is supposed to be the most Instagrammable place in Morocco, which you can now see from the sky. In this region, you can go to the seaside. You can explore like ancient cities like Fez or Meknes. And you can also try like the amazing Moroccan wine. Like wine is produced in Morocco since the Roman Empire. And we now have wine of a very good quality. Heading to Casablanca. Casablanca is not the capital of Morocco. Capital is Rabat, where the main royal palace is. So the king has several royal palaces. The main one is in Rabat. He has one in Marrakesh and one in Fez, which is maybe the most beautiful one. If you want like a royal experience, we can privatize a museum in Marrakesh, Dar El Bacha Museum, which is inside the royal palace, and organize a dinner for you there. I can show you pictures if you're interested. So we can bring like the kitchen, the staff, the chef from Royal Mansour bring an amazing decor, lights, candles inside, and some entertainment. And you can have like a 3-star gala dinner inside one of the most beautiful palaces in Morocco. It's a marvelous experience. I think that's what all is about in our beautiful country. Morocco is an extremely safe country, which means that you can organize private experiences almost everywhere in a very safe environment. The only place where I would say it's not as safe as the rest of the country is Casablanca, where we are now. So that's what I always say. Don't expect the city to be like in the movie Casablanca with Humphrey Bogart. It's completely different. It's a big city, but it's a mandatory stop. When you go to India, at some point you have to stop in New Delhi. In Morocco, it's the same with Casablanca. The only point of interest is the mosque, which you see on the background here, is the tallest religious monument in the world. And it was the biggest mosque in the world until the United Arab Emirates built the one from Abu Dhabi. But until then, it was the biggest one in the world. And it's full of symbols because it's floating on the water. So it's between earth, water, and the air. So like all the elements are combined in this beautiful monument. We also have some beach resorts. So Morocco is not a beach destination. It's very important to notice that. But we have beach resorts in Tarazout next to Agadir, El Jadida. We have nice hotels. So it's perfect for me to end a journey, but I don't really recommend to spend 15 days in such hotel. You have much more interesting resorts for your clients, I would say in France, Italy, or some other countries. So we absolutely can't compete with them. And that's not the point. But I think that ending a nice tour in Morocco, while after visiting interesting countries, having all those amazing private experiences, maybe to spend a couple of days by the ocean, can be very nice. In Walidia, we have a nice hotel there. It's a 15 rooms property called La Sultana. It's truly amazing. Again, an amazing retreat, which you can privatize for less than $10,000 a night. Service is amazing. You have the most delicious seafood in Africa, oysters, crabs, lobsters, like the best fresh fish catch from the day. It's truly amazing. I have my family house there. So that's one of my favorite parts of Morocco. Back to the center of the country. So Ifrane, it was a small colony built by the Swiss and the French. They were tired of Moroccan architecture. So they built a little village that would look like Europe. So it's in the middle of pine trees. During winter time, it's covered by snow. So it really looks like Switzerland in a bit, which is quite surprising. And there's even a little ski resort there called Ukeimden. And we have an amazing, Michlifen, and we have an amazing resort which is operated by La Mamounia, so the Michlifen in Ifrane. It's also an amazing hotel which very few people know. Now we're in Fez, so home of Moroccan gastronomy and culture, home to the oldest university in the world. We also have amazing guides and people working with us in Fez, and we can organize some private dining experiences in privately owned palaces with like the finest dining and service. And also if you want to try the local wine, it's a very good opportunity. So in terms of, I would say the restaurants are more funnier, more trendy, etc., bigger and hipper in Marrakesh. But if you want to try the real Moroccan gastronomy, it's clearly in Fez that you need to go. And we have outstanding experiences there. We also have an amazing street food tour. So instead of the classical city tour, during 3 hours, you wander in the streets of Fez with an amazing guide. He's a teacher at the University of Fez and used to be a teacher in the Netherlands before. And he will show you during 3 hours all the monuments that you will see during the classical city tour, but you stop in little shops and restaurants to try local specialties, herbs, spices, fruits, and all kinds of vegetables and honey as well. So it's an amazing experience. Meknes is on the video, but honestly, I don't really recommend to stay there. The only point of interest in Meknes is the little Chateau Roslan. It's the first AOC in Morocco. So it's the best wine. It's a little chateau from the 1950s. And they have a red, white, sparkling, and sweet wine as well. So I encourage each one of you to try them when you come to Morocco. And if you're interested to know more about wine and gastronomy, that's my personal specialty. So I would be like really happy to answer all your questions about that. And I can also lead myself some tours in this region and organize tastings in Marrakesh, as I have some very rare bottles of those wines. So the first winemakers in Morocco, the Romans. So it's between Fez and Meknes. Those beautiful ruins, it's quite surprising to see that in Morocco. And again, like we have outstanding guides in Volubilis for private tours. It's really moving to see so much history in one country, but also when you move back to Casablanca or Rabat, to see such modernity. So I would say that Morocco is a land of contrast and surprises. I don't like to say that, but between tradition and modernity, it's a bit basic to say so, but that defines Morocco really well. Well, that's the end of our journey. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, I'm all yours. Dominique, you're on mute.
Still mute. Okay, so I thank you very much to you for this wonderful tour showing us that Morocco is much more than just Marrakesh. And there is so much secret still, if the clans have not explored all this. So much option.
Yes, I think also what is interesting, again, Marrakesh is good for short stays. I don't like if you stay less than 1 week, I don't really recommend to go to more than 2 cities. Let's say Marrakesh, maybe the Atlas Mountains to Casbah Tamadot, for example, and maybe 1 day by the ocean, which can be a day trip, and maybe like an helicopter ride to the Sahara for 1 day if you can afford it. But that's it. For longer journeys, it's a different story. And again, what I think is interesting is to really showcase Morocco differently through made-to-measure like experiences. I know that everyone is talking about experiences and private this, exclusive that, but I can tell you, and you know that, Dominique, that we're like the experiences we can offer are truly unique, and we're the only company with access to so much private sites in the country. And we also operate countrywide, so it makes a big difference to be able to offer the same level of service in each city.
I'm going to jump directly to the question of Laurent. If you had 10 days, how would you split the stay?
I mean, for 10 days, I would also, it depends on the time of the year. If it's now during winter time, I would really recommend to spend like 4 or 5 nights in Marrakesh, to go south to like southern Morocco, because it's not really hot at the moment and you have amazing skies at night. So 4 nights in Marrakesh, maybe 1 or 2 nights at Darlam in Ouarzazate, 1 night at Desert Camp. Then 2 options. You can go back to Darlam for 1 night, or take an helicopter to go back to Marrakesh, then Casbah Tamadot for 1 night, and I would spend the last 2 nights at by the ocean. So Marrakesh 4 nights, 3-4 nights southern Morocco, 1-2 nights the mountains, and 2-3 nights by the ocean.
Perfect.
For me, that would be the best deal. And if it's during like the hotter season, instead of southern Morocco, you go to Fez. So that was the last cities we saw in the video. So say Marrakesh 4 nights, maybe 1 night in Casablanca in the middle, 2-3 nights in Fez, and you end by the ocean.
Yeah, thank you, Roda. Yes, we will we'll send the recording of the presentation. Laurent, you said, so you do only luxury trips, or will you do 4-star as well?
No, we don't do 4 stars at all. And we don't have a minimum spend at the moment, but we will have to ask for one, I think, by the middle of next year, because we start to receive, thanks to Dominique's amazing job, we start to receive a lot of requests, and we really want to focus on high luxury services. So we have to decline, unfortunately, request when it's not not 5-star, 5-star and above.
Thank you. Céline, you want to know, Alexandre talk about Jewish area. Who guide this tour? Since no more Jews there, she said.
You would be surprised. You know, Morocco recognized Israel as a state last year, and now like relationship between our 2 countries are back to normal. And I would say we're like a truly good friends. So Prime Minister of Morocco was in Israel I think last week, and Benny Gantz came to visit us like a few months ago. So we have a lot of things like to offer to our Jewish friends and clients. So we can offer like glad kosher catering during the trips. And also we have Jewish guides, and you'd be surprised. Like, of course, the Jewish community in Morocco is not as big as it used to be, but we start to have like a very nice infrastructures to welcome our Jewish clients.
You said, but it's not only Israel a Jew who comes, or Jews from Moroccan ancestry, rather than other Jews from all around, correct?
It's very interesting because we especially from the USA, we have a lot of Ashkenaz clients coming to Morocco, and I'm not Jewish myself, but when we started our business, when I started my business in Morocco like 12 or 13 years ago, we were an event management company, and we were specialized in Jewish weddings. So we have very good connections with rabbis and kosher caterers. And still today, we do a lot of glad kosher events, and surprisingly, mainly for Ashkenaz clients.
Oh, so that's very nice.
From Switzerland, Poland, USA.
Yeah, Céline, you said bravo for your tour and cultural tour. Ashkenaz are also interested in history. I would love one day to take a tour like this. Huh?
But we did something fun, like with a client of us, like 2 weeks ago. We took the Grand Riad at Royal Mansour, and we brought like 2 chefs from one from New York and one from Israel, plus a rabbi. And so we had a little stuff like that. And they brought one musician from Switzerland. Yeah, so he was only playing like Ashkenaz music. So he came with his guitar, and we invited some Moroccan musicians. And they went to a small village with those musicians, and they started playing together between like the traditional Ashkenaz music. They were singing Yiddish with the Moroccan musicians. It was like truly amazing.
As you said, Céline, yes, you said you're taking me on the tour. On y va. We are going. You have some other question, actually, Céline. You said the borders are closed, but not with all countries, since you're attached to Spain and Portugal, for example.
At the moment, they are close to every country, but it will hopefully change by the 14th of December.
But now, in general, how is the situation in Morocco, security-wise? Also, when you take this type of tour, is a guy who is a guest at all time?
You have 2 options. Sorry, some guests want to have the same guide all the time in each city, which we can clearly do. And we have also amazing English-speaking drivers. So they're well-groomed with nice, beautiful, recent vehicles with water, face mask, gel, and everything inside. But some clients, they like to be on their own sometimes between each city. So in that case, we can hire local guides. That's an option I like a lot, especially for cities like Fez, because I think it's difficult for national guides to know as many secrets as a local guide would do. So if clients really want the same guide, but with all the amazing experiences we can craft, in that case, we organize a short meeting with the national guide and the local one to prepare some amazing local experiences.
And as you said in your presentation, some clients might want to even drive on your own. So security level, maybe Céline, you mean beyond COVID, but you also mean security for security. It's very safe to drive on your own in Morocco. You were actually saying that was an option.
Of course, and you'd be surprised by the quality of the road. And every time I drive within Morocco, it's really amazing. Our highways, they're in better shape than in most European countries.
Yeah. So but what she was saying, she was talking about this pure security.
Security? Oh no, Morocco.
You see, that's why I knew you needed it, because the country is so safe that you didn't really see the question.
No, it's an amazingly safe. Of course, if you walk alone at 5 a.m, drunk with your phone in a dark street, it's not super safe. But it's the case in even in small villages everywhere. But basically, Morocco is a very, very safe country. Like for single travelers, for women, for everyone, it's a safe country.
It's very, very special country. So I cannot wait to be back and to discover a little more than what I just know. I do not see any other question. I don't know if you have anything to add, Alexandre, before we...
Yeah, we like a few stuff about us. We have banking in US dollars. We refund instantly. We have the most flexible cancellation policies, the best contracts in every hotel, and amazing cars, good guides. And if you have VIP clients, I'm here myself to welcome them and sometimes to lead some tours if you have like VIP clients, like some we have at the moment. So yeah.
And you know, we have
That's
this
it.
www Let's Connect 365 platform. So you can make a private appointment with Alexandre and maybe discuss an itinerary. You can also invite your clients to join the Zoom call with Alexandre. So I think this is working very well. I see more of you inviting the clients to your Let's Connect meeting with our supplier. So I'm going to say goodbye to you as we have no more questions, or maybe just one. Oh, Johnny, you said great presentation. Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you.
And Alexandre, we're looking forward to have you again on one of the webinars. This webinar will be, the recording will be sent to you. And then also, you know, as you know, is available on our YouTube channel. So thank you, everybody. Buenas tardes, boa tarde. Thank you so much, Alexandre. It was lovely.
Thank you, Dominique.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.